Are you an accounting or tax professional who wants to stay ahead without spending a dime? Join thousands who trust insightful accountant and tax practice news to keep them informed and empowered. Get expert updates on QuickBooks, Xero, tax planning strategies, and workflow tips delivered straight to your inbox. Whether you're a solo bookkeeper, firm leader, or tax advisor, these newsletters are your shortcut to what's next in the profession. They're free, practical, and built for people like you. Visit insightfulaccountant.com and hit subscribe to start your smarter workflow today for free.
So welcome to today, day 4 of this month's Tax Focus Future Forward. Today's session is Strategic Client Engagement for Peak Tax Season Performance. We went with a short title for this whole series. My name is Gary Dehart. I'm the host of the session, managing partner of Insightful Accountant. Our presenter is Christine Gervais, CPA. She will give her own bio in a moment. And this presentation is about equipping you with essential strategies to transform your pre-tax preparation and client engagement approach, and parentheses, and to eliminate IRS notices. That's we just added that one.
I can
So
toss
this
that. I can toss that in there.
There we go. All right. So this session is sponsored by Xero. Thank you very much, Xero, for your support for this. That is it. Christine, it is all yours. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for the attendees who are here. And again, thanks to Xero for sponsoring today's session.
Awesome. I'm gonna just do the hardest part of the day here, always making sure that my screen share gets set up properly. So give me 1 minute. I'm gonna share, and then we're going to
While
make
you do
sure.
that, Cheryl said she would not allow brokerage houses to
I saw
send
that.
1099 brokerage statements later than they should be and force them to send 5498 no matter what.
I saw that. I completely agree, Cheryl, for sure. That was a good one. We could also go with no amended 1099 brokerage statements either. Like if you can't get it right the first time, then hey, listen, we need to maybe look at a different back end system. But welcome. I'm going to just kind of jump right in because there is a lot of content in this session. Really quick double thank you to Xero for sponsoring. If you're not a current Xero user, they have a fantastic system. All of their functionality is on here. I'll mention them a couple more times as we go throughout today, how you can utilize their system throughout tax season. But I have a ton that I want to cover. I'm really excited about this session because as I was sort of building out this content, I noticed a lot of things that our practice can benefit from implementing this year too. So, this was a really great exercise to go through just in terms of efficiency and getting ready for tax season. I know that we just had October 15th last week, so it's really difficult to talk about going into another busy season. But I think that what we're going to talk about today is going to make you feel more prepared for a strategically efficient season, hopefully. Not much I can do about the state of the IRS, but we'll go through as many tips and tricks as we possibly can to help you out. So I'm going to go through pre-tax season client communication strategy. This is something that our practice has done and probably hopefully gotten better at over the years. But the strategy that I am going to present today is definitely different than anything that we've utilized. So just know that I'm going to be rolling this out with all of you this year as well, tracking my KPIs. I would love to hear from all of you if you execute this, what your performance changes like. We'll talk about some effective marketing. I know marketing in the middle of busy season seems totally counterintuitive, but we'll talk about that as well, why it's important, and just digital systems that you can utilize, how to automate things, the digital technology that your clients are looking for as well. Okay, so I never seem to be able to get this to. There we go. Um, so if we haven't met or if you haven't been on one of my sessions before, it's great to have you here and thanks for connecting. I am the co-founder of Cultivate Consulting. We're a small tax and accounting practice. I, as you can see, will be celebrating my 19th filing season coming up this year in 2026. And when you can't find me in the office, I will be working on our family farm. So busy, busy, busy. Efficiency is the name of the game for me for sure. I definitely don't have time to be chasing down people's W 2s and those 1099s, Cheryl. I'm with you. So Everything that we look at going into a busy season is how can we provide better value to our clients? How can we do more with less? How can we prevent our employees from getting burnt out? And hopefully that's what you'll take away here today. So, the reactive tax season cycle, we all know this. We don't love it. I've never been able to fully get out of this, even though I think we've made a lot of improvements over the years, things that we've learned. Hopefully, what we take away today is also going to give all of you some significant improvements as well. I don't think it's going to eliminate these things, but you all know what this feels like, right? We're constantly chasing documents. We're constantly reminding clients of the things that we need in order to prepare their tax returns. Everybody's working overtime. We're exhausted. You're scrambling at the last minute for all of these deadlines. Clients get frustrated because things aren't done. They don't have a good handle on the time that it takes to prepare a compliant return, what that means on the back end. And so there's just this big disconnect in terms of trying to get things done efficiently without everybody getting frustrated. So not only do we not want our team to get burnt out and frustrated, we also don't want our clients to feel frustrated, even if they are the ones giving us stuff at the last minute. There's a lot that we can be doing on the front end that's really going to help them feel like there's a value add to our service here, that this is someone who's really going out of their way to help me be organized and on top of things and less stressed out about this process. Um, and there's something to be said for that. I can tell you that the number one reason that prospective clients give us when we're talking to them at sort of that discovery call phase as to why they're looking to change their accounting services is because they feel that they do not get enough timely communication from their current accountant. So if we're able to provide that consistent and timely communication, even if it's automated, and these tools and resources to help them feel like, okay, I really have some value here, that's really going to raise your value proposition of your business as a whole. And that also gives you the opportunity to command a different level of price for the services that you're offering. And so that's going to obviously affect your bottom line. That changes your ability to reinvest into resources, talent, et cetera, to help further address any type of efficiency issues. So we're going to get into all of that. I have the chat and the Q&A open, so I will try to keep an eye on both of those. It can be a little distracting for me, but I'll try to keep an eye on both. So if you have any questions or comments during the session, please put them in there and I will try to answer them. So I'm going to pull up our first polling question. Little early on, but we want to see what's going on with the audience today. So, current client communication assessment. How many of your clients are typically submitting their documents within the first month of tax season? I know that a lot of you are giggling reading this or crying, one or the other. But let me know like, what percentage do you think are your clients submitting their documents early on? I'm actually interested to see this answer. I think we might have a mix. You can see my little statistics at the bottom of that slide while you're answering the polling question, that most practices see less than 50% early submission. I would consider the first month of tax season actually probably February, January, February timeframe. Less than 25%. Okay, goodness. So hopefully this is going to be really helpful today. I feel like this all of the time, you guys. You're not alone. I'm definitely not in the more than 75% category. This has just been an ongoing struggle that we have tried to address, and none of us are alone. It's just kind of the name of the game in the industry. So let's see if we can try to come up with some strategies that are going to help with some of that. So the traditional approach, and I went kind of generic with these slides just to sort of make the point. You're probably going to find that your practice is somewhere in the middle of these things. Like, you're going to find that maybe some of the things I suggest are things that you're already doing, or some of the things that I'm saying we need to get away from, you're maybe not doing. So just kind of take that all with a grain of salt. For most of us, the traditional approach is that we're waiting for clients to come to us, right? Like, we might have been proactive about sending out organizers and sending out that initial communication. Probably not usually until like early January. I know that we're guilty of that we always send everything out the first week of January. That's always our goal. Um, we send those organizers out, and then probably, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, we'll send reminders to everybody. Hey, your organizer isn't isn't in. And after that, the follow-up kind of falls off. Like we sort of leave it with the clients at that point to just be like, we gave you everything, like you haven't given us everything, so we're just going to wait until we hear from you. That is really a challenging approach when you're dealing with clients who are probably avoiding this. This is a stressful process for them. None of them really are excited about filing their tax returns unless you have a bunch of clients that are expecting refunds. They're not incentivized to address this. So they're going to do what most people do when they don't want to have to deal with something. They're going to procrastinate on it. And it doesn't matter how many reminders you send to them. They're just going to procrastinate on it. Your follow up's going to be inconsistent. They're going to forget about it. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be the day before the deadline. And you're running around filing a bunch of extensions because there's no way that you're going to get everything and get these returns filed on time. So what we're going to try to do is just kind of revamp that approach to communication. So we're going to start initiating contact 3 to 4 months early. So just in case we're not paying attention or maybe you need an afternoon cup of coffee, that means now. That means now, you guys. We're going to start communicating with our clients right now about next tax season. And I know that feels totally overwhelming because, like I said, all of us are like, all right, Christine, we've barely taken a breath from last week. We just got through October 15th. We're starting to go into the holiday season. This is like our only little section of weeks where we can sort of take a breather before we have to start doing year end tax planning. Stay with me. I promise you that you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I really believe that you're going to see the benefit of us starting to communicate earlier with our clients. I have some approaches for you. We're going to get into the details of segmenting, personalizing, automating reminders, multiple channel touch points, etc. But the result, statistically, if we start communicating now consistently, is going to be a 40 to 60% reduction in peak season bottlenecks. That means like not chasing documents that you've been asking for 6 months right up until 2 weeks before the deadline. You're still going to do that. There's always somebody that you're going to do that for, but we're going to try to cut down the percentage. So, the 120-day proactive plan, this is what we're going to be shooting for in terms of goals. And you are going to get a copy of this slide deck. So don't worry about, trying to write all of this down or save all of this. There's a couple of really detailed slides towards the back of this slide deck that I more put in there for your reference after the fact. So just know that that resource is going to be there for you to reference back to this. But between now and like probably mid-November, like we really want to start trying to work on getting this out before Thanksgiving. Initial personalized outreach by client segment, and we're going to talk about client segments in a little bit. Setting some expectations for deadlines, communicating tax law changes, and then offer some type of early bird incentive. So not everybody does scheduling. I know some people do. We're not a firm that pre-schedules like tax return review conversations. We schedule our tax return review conversations as someone's return is actually ready to be gone over with them. But I know that some firms like to pre-schedule those, and Joe Smith has his time slot on, February 28th, and that's his time slot. So it doesn't really matter which approach you take. If you're not a pre scheduler, you can still offer some type of early bird incentive. The other thing that I'm going to tell you that's not necessarily on this slide deck, but between now and November is a really great time to be promoting tax advisory services. You can use these tax law changes communications to sort of advertise some value added advisory services because we can still make a difference in our clients' ending tax liability between now and December 31st. I know there's some things that we can also still do after December 31st, but for the most part, clients are looking for advice right now. What can I do between now and the end of the year? The classic, like, do I need to go buy a truck? Do I need to go buy an excavator? Do I need to donate more money? Those are all great tactics for you to start having an early communication touch point with your clients. And then I highly recommend if your clients are actually executing on some of the tax planning strategies that you're having conversations about, make sure you're getting all of that documentation now. If client Joe Smith is going to go buy a brand new truck before the end of the year, just say, hey, Joe, on the day that you purchase the truck, I want you to just that day, as soon as you have it in your hands, send me over the paperwork on the truck. We'll hold it in the file. We know that we don't need it until February or March, but that way we'll already have it because once February and March comes, Joe's brain is long gone on whether or not he's supposed to be sending you these documents. And now you're going to be holding up a tax return for a truck that you can't appreciate. So, this is an early communication touch point that we can all use. We have lots of tax law changes that we can discuss with clients. Everybody is stressed out about the government shutdown. What does that mean? A lot of clients don't realize that that means things as simple as transcripts can't be pulled. So these are all things that we want to be planning for. You can be putting up blog posts, you can be sending out emails, you can be emailing about your blog post to try to start that communication early. And in those communications, set your deadlines. I'm going to talk about boundaries with your clients, but you want to set some very clear deadlines and expectations for your clients. For example, our practice requires everything from our clients 30 days in advance of a deadline, or we're automatically going to extend the return. We have found that it takes about 4 weeks for us from the time that we receive all of the information to get all of that data inputted, our work papers prepared, the return reviewed, make sure that all of our compliance boxes are checked, get that return out to the client, review the draft with them because we still have to schedule their draft review call, make sure that they understand everything on the return, get signatures on everything, get those voucher payments out, all of the things that are involved with that return. So we tell them we need everything 30 days in advance or we're automatically going to file an extension for you. Make sure if you have boundaries and deadlines like that, other than the actual filing deadlines, that that is communicated to your clients early and often. And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more too. So that's our goal for the next month or so. Once we get to December, you're going to start doing a lot more of your internal preparation, your document preparation. Make sure all of your client files are ready to go. Make sure your client portal is set up. Make sure that we have preparation guidance. Maybe that's your internal checklist, your review checklist. Basically, make sure that your team is ready to go. And as I mentioned, schedule those advisory appointments. Get that first touch point in with your clients, which, by the way, should be a fee above and beyond your tax prep fees. So if that's not something that you're doing, that's something to take a look at inside of your internal practices as well. Your clients should be paying you for your advisory fee, your advisory services above and beyond your tax preparation services. But this is a great way to communicate and have a new revenue lead generator coming in. We, like I said, we do have a lot of tax law changes this year. It's going to affect a lot of taxpayers. January, and I told you guys already transparently that this hasn't been our schedule. We're normally back at October, November, kind of December timeframe in early January. So we're going to be working on doing this earlier this year with all of you. January is actually supposed to be that final reminder and early bird incentives. Now, I know the IRS has kind of already loosely announced like their opening of tax season 2026 date. It is pretty well into February. It's planned to be pretty well into February this year. That's not really that surprising. Whenever we have a lot of tax law changes, it's typical that we don't see the IRS start accepting returns until after mid-February because there's a lot that has to happen on the back end to make sure that form changes are made, and that things that need to be e-filed on brand new forms are able to be. So, this is what I'm going to tell you. Early bird incentives don't need to go away. You don't need to ignore that just because the filing season is maybe going to open a little bit later than normal. Incentivize your clients to have their return done, approved, and signed off on before the IRS even opens for e-file. It that might come in the form of a discount. It might come in the form of like we'll have time to do a free advisory call for you if you're able to get us everything early, whatever you think is the best fit for your firm. But incentivizing your clients to get everything to you early is a great way to take this squeeze that always happens between March and April and start to spread it out into February and January. So start thinking now for yourself about which clients you think would be a good fit for that. And we are, like I said, going to talk a little bit about client segmentation. Meeting clients where they're at. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on this, but in my almost 20 years of filing experience, there's no way to 100% get around and train your clients to send everything to you in the exact format that you need it in via the exact channel that you want to receive it. I have had clients send me tax documents using every single one of these communication channels listed here, right up to sending tax documents in Facebook Messenger. I didn't ask for them that way. It always horrifies me. I always try to immediately go back to them and train them. Hey, we have this link to this really easy to use portal. You can even access it on your phone. But we do have to work a little bit to meet clients where they're at. We all know that our clients are on their phones an inordinate amount of time during the week. So I would highly recommend looking at communication channels that are mobile friendly, whether that is a client portal that has SMS text capability, has the ability for your clients to instant message you, log in from your phone. I think that that's a great strategy. We want to try to get away from email. And so, one little tip and trick that I have for you is that when you start thinking about these initial tax communications, if you want to help really train your clients how to communicate with you during tax season and how to provide tax documents to you, use the channel that you want them to actually put the documents in. So, I'll just give you an example. We use TaxDome internally, but I know that Carbon does this. Lisio, I believe, does this. There's a few portals that you can look at that have similar types of features. So I would highly recommend that if you're not using one of those, maybe look into it. You don't have to start, full blown pull the trigger on changing your client portal over the next month right before tax season starts, but it might be the right opportunity for you to start assessing your client communication and whether or not you can utilize the communication piece. Um, so for example, if we're going to send out, links to our tax organizers, if we're going to send out a mass communication that says these are the deadlines and things that you need to be aware of, if we're going to send out a mass communication that says these are the tax law changes that you need to be aware of, here's the link for you to schedule calls with us. I'm probably going to do that through my portal. I'm going to probably plan to make sure that those messages are either sent via email or text or both through our client portal because that's where I want my clients to come back to when they have to start sending us documents. So I want to start having that communication be initiated in the same way that I want them to communicate back to us. If I start sending a bunch of emails just right from my inbox, the likelihood that my clients are going to respond that way is very high. And then look at different sync tools. So we really want to get automated with all of this. If you want to look at tools like Microsoft Copilot, how that can help you, it's AI generated. It can probably help you find a lot of things in your inbox that should be going to the portal. SMS, that's text capability through your portal or through your phone system. AI transcript, auto recording. So if you're taking phone calls with clients, if you're not using some type of video conferencing software, whether or not you have a transcript recording that can come into your phone system and make sure that it's taking notes from all of your client calls. The more tools that you can utilize to cut down on the manual process, that especially the data collection methodology, right? Because if all of a sudden Joe Smith calls you while you're driving in your car and you answer the phone and you're talking about tax strategy and he says, I'm going to go buy a new truck, like you're not necessarily in a place at that moment to remember that you're supposed to get that paperwork, that there's a new truck that's supposed to be on the return. So, types of transcribing tools, those portal tools where you can then, okay, I'm going to have our admin send you a link to our portal. You're going to be able to have it right on your phone. As soon as you have those trucks documents, send them there. So, just some ideas of things to help streamline that communication into one location and help to train your clients early on where you want all of that to go. So, we kind of covered a lot of this so far. The call to action, we haven't talked about. So, when you start sending those initial launch messages, which is again now, the next like 3 to 4 weeks, when you start sending those initial messages, you want to make sure you include a call to action. What is it that you want your clients to do? What's the first thing that you want them to do? Is it that you want them to schedule an appointment? Do you want them to reach out and schedule a tax planning call if they have changes from last year? Do you want them to make sure that their account is activated in your portal? What is that initial call to action? And you want to make sure that you include that in that initial information. And then make sure you let them know when you're going to be available, whether that's a Calendly scheduling link, if it's just your contact information in your office hours, but be very clear about when it is that you're going to be available to them. Set clear boundaries. This one is my favorite. I think that we could all be better about setting boundaries with our clients. And I get it, you guys. I've been doing this for a really long time. We want to make sure that our clients feel loved and supported and get everything that they've desired from us. We want to have those glowing Google recommendations. But we need to make sure that we're being respectful of our scope creep, of our time. That's how we get into these spaces where we just don't have time to do all of the things that we shoulda, woulda, coulda been doing. And it can hurt the value add proposition if you're not providing a lot of value because you're just trying to be everything to everybody. Make sure that you're charging appropriately for the services that you're offering. Make sure that you're offering the services that you're being paid for. So we want to just make sure that we are paying attention to scope clarification. So again, those early bird incentives versus late preparation fees should be communicated early on. So if you are a practice that charges late preparation fees, rush fees, extension fees, you want to make sure that you're communicating all of that early. You can combine it with your early bird incentives and just say, hey, listen, if we have everything from you to be able to file in January or February, or at least have it ready and waiting for the IRS to accept the file in January and February, here's an incentive for you. If that incentive isn't good enough for you to get this over to us, we're going to start charging you late fees, extension fees, rush processing fees after XYZ date, and then actually follow through on that. That is going to train your clients what the expectation is. Clarify your scope with them now. It seems kind of like silly that we would need to clarify scope, but let's be honest, our clients don't often read our engagement letters. They're long, there's a lot of information that we have to put in there. Clarify what the scope is. Reach out to them and say, "Hey Joe Smith, we realize that you're only engaged for tax preparation services. You don't currently have an engagement with us for tax planning. There's a lot of tax laws that have changed this year. Would you be interested in adding on some tax planning and advisory services in, whatever capacity that means for your firm?" That is potentially going to be really helpful and attractive to Joe, and it solidifies you as the expert advisor and it clarifies your scope so that Joe calls you, on December 31st while he's sitting at the dealership and you're trying to enjoy New Year's Eve dinner with your family and Joe's confused why you're not taking his call at that time. Like, we've already clarified with Joe, like, we have an opportunity for some extra services for you here. And then make a commitment to your response time. So I told you that we typically use 30 days. 4 weeks to 30 days is our typical response time. But make sure that you clarify with clients what that means. And whether it doesn't matter if it's 2 days or if it's 2 weeks or if it's 4 weeks, whatever it is that your response time is that your firm is committing to, one, make sure it's reasonable because they're going to expect that you follow through on that. And two, you want to kind of, again, set that expectation. Hey, our response time is 4 weeks from the time that we have all of your documents from you. So if you're giving us everything 2 weeks before a deadline, we're probably not finishing that return for you. So make sure that that's clearly spelled out. Create an automated email series. So this doesn't need to be manual. You could actually this afternoon take an hour and sit down and schedule all of these emails to your tax clients 90 days beforehand. So, and I'm talking like before tax season starts, which actually, like I said, means now. This is the 90 days before tax season starts. So start crafting that launch email to go out in the next couple of weeks. What do they need to get started? 60 days before is going to be a little bit closer to end of year, early January. What documents are needed? What are the deadline reminders? So, again, at that point, they should have received organizers, communication. So now you're just sort of reiterating as a reminder, So our plan this year is we're going to start doing all these launch messagings now, scheduling our advisory appointments before December 31st. And instead of sending our organizers out in January, what we would be doing that first week of January is sending the reminder. You've already received your organizer link. Here are your deadline reminders. You can automate all of this right now. You can automate your scheduling for appointment reminders. If you're using something like a Calendly, it will automatically remind your clients of the appointment that they've already booked with you. They can edit it, cancel it, change it, reschedule it on their own without having to fill up your inbox with those requests. And start blocking off your tax season calendar. If the worst weeks of tax season are from, I don't know, call it February 20th to, April 7th or whatever it is for your practice, depending on like your client segmentation, start blocking your calendar now. Like you probably don't want to have it be like blocked off as busy where people can't make appointments on your calendar, but you maybe want to have just like some reminders on there of like, hey, don't fill this up with your CPE. Don't fill this up with some of these other things. Like we want to have this reserved for these appointments that we know that we're going to need to have with our clients in order to review their returns and get them out the door. So, that pro tip, using a client portal or CRM that automates reminders for you or can build in that text messaging is going to improve your client response times. Remember, they're always on their phones. So, looking at a portal, like I know that TaxDome does, I know that Carbon does, where you're going to send that initial message and you can literally just toggle on reminders and never have to worry about it again. So, then it's kind of like a one and done if you're able to do that in your portal. All right, I'll take a breather for a second and we'll ask polling question number two. Just a reminder that if you're here for your CPE, you have to make sure that you've answered at least three of the four polling questions. Gary already asked one and I have three. So make sure that you take a second and answer this. What is your current level of automated client communication tools? I'm interested to see this answer too. This is a huge one in terms of saving you time. You can all go get a cup of coffee and a chocolate chip cookie after this and sit down and schedule out your 90, 60, 30 email communications to all your clients. Oh, okay. This is definitely more of a mix than I expected. So, yeah, no automation and all manual. Hopefully, this is helpful content for all of you to start looking at. Basic email reminders only, comprehensive automated. Okay, a few of you currently evaluating implementing automation tools. Okay, so for those of you who are kind of in more of the basic category, definitely utilize your email scheduling feature. Like that's easy peasy. Don't have to spend any money. Just start doing that right away. For the rest of you, or if you're sort of like analyzing what tools are going to be the right fit for you, if you're implementing any type of new tools or software before between now and tax season starting, this is a key question that you should be asking is what type of automated reminder features are available built into it. So basically, you can just toggle on a button and the clients are going to get reminders without you having to be manually involved. That's super critical. Okay. So this is one that I would say either screenshot this or just come back to this in the slide deck when you have a chance, because this is kind of busy. There's a lot of information on here. But what I'm trying to give you here is like a month by month timeline of communications that you can send out. Just, kind of as like a rough draft in terms of an idea of a schedule for you. So again, right now we're introducing planning ahead. And then in a month or two, what is next? Like what's coming for tax season? Those customized checklists, want to start getting them out. You want to make sure everybody has their portal access. We've gotten last year's tax return, especially if they're a brand new client. All of that stuff can start being done now so that you're set up and ready to go as soon as we are, turning the page to January 1st. Scheduling those tax advisory appointments, if you're someone that schedules tax review appointments, getting all those done. Again, that's another place where I highly recommend that you use something that has automated reminders like a Calendly, like any type of scheduling app where your clients have the ability to schedule within a certain block of time. And then the apps are going to just remind them for you of what those appointments are and when they are. So when you send out in January, again, we want to just get out the document submission instructions. We want all this pre-work to be done by the time we get to early January. We just want it to be, hey, reminders, this is where you're sending us stuff. Send out a portal tutorial video. I love this. Love, 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 love. If you guys need an app to help you with this, or if you're just like shy on camera, you will love Loom. I actually didn't put this in the slide deck, but write this down. This is Loom. If you're not already using it, I love Loom. So Loom will actually like record you like speaking like I am now, like in a little, circle in video, like you're talking on a video conference with your clients while it's simultaneously recording your screen in the background. So you could go set up like a fake avatar client like ABC Company and Joe Smith in your tax portal just as like example clients. And you could do a quick 10-15 minute portal walkthrough for them and send that out. They will feel so loved and touched that you sent this face to face video, actually giving them instructions. That is a huge touch point and it's really easy to do. So go check out Loom and consider doing that portal tutorial video. I hear from clients all the time like, taxes are scary. I don't know anything about taxes. I'm relying on you to tell me about taxes. I don't even know what it is that I'm supposed to send to you. Like, okay, we sent you 17 checklists so that you know what to send to us. But these are the types of things that can give your clients a lot of comfort so that they don't get into that procrastination, stressful space. And then you have some ideas in terms of scheduling all the way through the 1st of March. I would highly recommend, personal opinion, that you start applying rush fees again, anything closer than 30 days, which would actually mean February 15th for March 15th deadlines. But that's totally an internal operating decision. So this is just kind of like a guide that you can use in terms of setting up this communication. And a lot of this you can schedule now. You don't have to wait to start sending these manually out in the middle of tax season. Okay, let's talk about client segmentation for a second and tiering your clients. If you've been on previous webinars of mine, I talk about this a lot at the end of the year. I fully believe in assessing your whole client list at the end of every year. We've done this for years. It sounds a little harsh, but it really is the healthiest possible thing that we could do for our practice. And really, at the end of the day, it's the healthiest possible thing that we could do for the clients too, because it's never a good relationship if you're trying to like drag along this client relationship that just isn't a good fit for your practice. So, the ABC client method is that you're going to go through your client list and you're going to put them in an A category, a B category, and a C category. And just really quickly, I'm going to tell you that your A clients are your highest value clients. They're not always necessarily your highest paying. If they're super inefficient, be careful about that. But they're your highest value clients. They always pay on time. You really just love working with them. Like they're great people. They're easy to talk to. Like you're not like cringing when you have a call scheduled with them. Those are your A clients. You want more of your A clients. Those are the clients that, like, if you could duplicate them, you would just be the happiest tax practice owner in the world. Those are your A clients. So, everybody who's an A, the list is probably going to be short. I'm going to be honest with you. Our A list is always our shortest list. You want to put your A clients in the A bucket. Those A clients get preferential treatment. So maybe it's that they get first crack at your schedule. Maybe it's that you reach out and say, can we do a half hour free advisory for you to demonstrate how we might be able to help you more? Like you want to give them preferential treatment because you also want to duplicate them. And hopefully we'll ask them for referrals in a few minutes. Your B clients are probably going to be your longest list, hopefully your longest list. These are clients that are kind of like a mix. Like they're not C clients. We're going to talk about them in a minute. Like we're not looking to get rid of our B clients. This is probably really the bread and butter, right? Like they're not A clients, but they're still good clients. Maybe they're a little more cringy to talk to, but they still pay their bill on time. Maybe it's a high value job, but we just don't really love working with them. So they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay and they're just not in your priority list. And then your C clients are clients that are just a pain in the neck. They never give you anything on time. They're always asking for free services. They're constantly with the scope creep. They are not paying their bill on time. Like they're eating up a ton of resources to basically be the squeaky wheel for not a ton of value add to the firm. The C clients need to go. So those are the clients that you want to be assessing right now because your C bucket you want to give notice to before the end of the year. Really love you, Joe Smith, but we don't feel that this is the best fit for you anymore. We're not the best fit for you. And so we're going to decline to continue your tax engagement going into this year. You've immediately created a bunch of space and efficiency and ability to take on new higher value work, more A and B clients going into the season because you're not utilizing your resources on your squeaky wheels anymore. And we're going to talk about marketing in just a minute as well. So you can also segment your clients between high value returns and simple returns. So that high value should probably mean more complex versus simple. And that might mean that you're kind of altering the amount of time that you're spending on them or the preferential treatment or, the incentives. It really is going to be dependent on what your practice looks like. Another way that you could tier your clients is advisory versus non-advisory clients. We have both. And so I'm going to send a different scope communication to our non advisory clients, probably trying to incentivize them to become advisory. But I'm going to be pretty clear like, the only phone call that you're going to get is the one to review your return, whereas our advisory clients are going to get a different communication. They're going to be a little bit more, we want to talk to you before the end of the year. We want to help. When can we connect with you? So this is really important for efficient resource allocation. And not only does this have a better experience for your team, like less burnout, et cetera, but this is really going to create a better experience for your clients, believe it or not, even on those smaller jobs, because you're just not going to be as burnt out and frustrated. They're going to be getting the right amount of resources for what they're engaged for. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because this is super busy. This is a lot of information. So, this is a slide that I will let you go through on your own time. But this is giving you kind of an idea of and a breakdown of like how you could segment your clients and then how much of your resources each of these segments should get. But the goal at the bottom, you can see 50% reduction in time spent on low complexity clients. So, those are not your C clients, remember, because those are gone. You got rid of them. You fired those clients. But, you might want to be aware of some of these B clients that are eating up too much of your firm resources. So this is your homework is to tier your clients before the end of the year and make some space in your list. Tracking our performance. So this is going to be really interesting. And again, like these are just ideas of key performance indicators that you can track throughout tax season to see if your improvement is actually happening from some of the things that you're implementing. So, how many more clients did you get early submission from? What was the response to the initial outreach that you did before the end of the year? So, these are all just ideas to track your performance. We obviously want to know if these strategies were effective. We're going to track ours. So, if you guys want to compare and contrast, like maybe on a beach in Maui in May, then we can do that. Or on the cruise. There you go. We have a beach already set up for us that we can compare and contrast our tax season KPIs. So value added services for retention. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but these are just some ideas. You can also use these as some marketing ideas to help pull in some more advisory services. So beyond just that quarterly tax planning check-in, offer mid-year tax planning check-ins. Like if you have clients that are just like quarterly is it's too robust for us. Like we're really small, maybe we can't afford it, maybe we think that's too often, whatever it is, you could offer mid-year tax projections. You could offer life event consultations. And then educational resources. So it seems sort of silly, but we have clients that ask us every year, like, what's the due date of my return? And can I deduct this or can I deduct that? These are all things that you could have like up on your website as free downloads. You could have them in your newsletters. You could have them up on your YouTube channel, recording a quick video. You could have all of these things in places where it's super easy to duplicate. So if this question comes up, if someone's asking, these are all things that you can put at the bottom of your communications as you're sending them out. So if you're starting to send those mass emails, you can say, here's a link to all of our educational resources if you have questions about due dates or tax law changes or deduction tools. That's a huge amount of value add. And that is going to be a huge competitive advantage over a practice who's not offering these types of things to their clients. So, the first three bullet points I would highly recommend you charge for your educational resources. I don't usually think that those are the types of things that should just be freebies. They're going to potentially be the things that bring in not just new clients, but will help you to upsell your existing clients as well. Do these now with an exclamation point. So start creating all of this stuff before tax season. So you, I know, are going to be so busy during tax season. You're not going to be able to think about this. And when I said, like, I don't want you to get kind of like, like no marketing during tax season, like we can't take on any more work. You can, because you just dumped all of your C clients, and we're going to replace that work with higher value, better fitting clients for your practice. And you also don't want to come out of tax season having done no marketing for 4 months, because your prospect list is going to be dead. So we want to make sure that you still have the ability to have engagement even when you're busy. All of these things that are here, and again, I'm not going to go through them. You can go through them on your own. There's suggestions of things that you can put together. You can put them together all before tax season and then just have them ready to go. You don't have to release them all now. You can save them for a blog post or a social media post in the middle of tax season. Save them for your newsletter if you want to. But these are all things that you can be creating over the next couple of months to just have ready to go to share either with your clients or prospective clients, or out on your newsletters, etc. Referral incentive options. So, this is an idea for you to help create referrals. Again, we want to duplicate our A clients and probably most of our B clients. So, we want to ask those clients if they will tell their friends and family about us once they have a really great experience with us. So, you want to immediately be asking for those referrals after the tax return is completed, which is very hard for us because we're just like, huh, thank goodness another return has been e-filed. I'm done with it and I don't need to look at it again next year. But if you are providing all of this great service to your clients, you want them to be thinking of you when their friends and family are asking, hey, who are you using? Like, why aren't you stressed out about filing your tax return? You want those referrals to come in. So think about creating some type of a recognition tracking referral process program, whatever again is the best fit for your firm. And make sure that you're asking for referrals. Make sure you're saying thank you for your referrals. And it doesn't have to be in the form of, pay or discounts or anything like that. But if you ask for referrals, you are more likely to get them from your clients, especially at a period of time that they just ended a really great value add experience with you. So you can see at the bottom, 20 to 30% of engaged clients provide at least one referral. But the key there is engaged. It's engaged clients. And so we have to really be providing the engagement. Again, this is something that you can automate too. So if you have the return go out, you could automatically schedule an email to go out a couple days later, or a message or a text message through your portal to go out a couple days later that says, thank you so much for trusting us this year. We would really appreciate if you would tell your friends and family. All right, last polling question, because we only have a few minutes left and I want to leave a couple minutes for Q&A. So, what is the marketing strategy priority in your tax season attraction coming up? What are you looking for? What's your primary marketing challenge for attracting tax season clients? These are good questions. Give everybody a minute. Last reminder that if you're here for CPE, you have to answer 3 out of the 4 polling questions. So if you missed one, this is your last chance. Get it in there. Interested to see. Oh, wow. This is a big mix. Okay. Yeah, that is a big, big mix. So I can help with the first one because you guys are going to be providing such like high levels of communication and engagement. You're not even going to look like your competition this tax season. And you can also use all of this for converting leads too. So really put some emphasis on that when you're talking to brand new clients about how engaged and proactive you are with your communication because they're definitely not getting that other places. What incentive do you use for referrals or for referral? Oh, great question, Cheryl. So, we typically do discounts for our clients. Candidly, if our clients refer someone to us, we'll do a discount based off of that new client's engagement, the first month of their engagement. Everybody does something a little bit different. And you just kind of have to find the thing that's the right fit for you. If you just even write a thank you letter or send a little gift card, like whatever is the right fit. But that is the one that we chose to use is discounts for our clients. So they'll get like a discount on their next month's bill. Um, okay. So I'm going to again just kind of leave this here with you. I want you to know that this slide is here. If you're assessing in like a new portal integration before tax season, I really want you to know that these are features that you should be assessing and maybe talking to your IT team about. So there's two slides of this that I will leave with you. And I also left you top rated portal solution. Xero Practice Manager is in there. Thank you, Xero. And so if you are assessing new portal integration software, take a peek at these two slides before you pull the trigger on a decision. What do you do when you have more clients than you can ever possibly handle and have to turn clients away? We've been trying for years to hire qualified help with no success. Oh, such a good question. So, really quickly, because I know we only have a couple minutes left, and I still have a little bit more for you guys. But Lennox, great question. So I'm gonna a couple things. One, definitely do that ABC analysis. I can almost promise you in that list of too many clients to handle that you have some C clients that you can just politely part ways with. If you really look at like of that whole client list, who is really adding to the bottom line and who isn't, I can promise you that there's some clients in there that are not adding to your bottom line. Like you're doing their work and the fact that you're probably losing money on some of them is being covered up by your other value added clients. So get rid of them right away and make more space for those higher value clients that you could be taking on. Two, um, really start to look at implementing automation, um, lots of automation for efficiency. And then up on the Insightful Accountant website, we did a Tax App Academy just last month in September, and there was some great tools in there. One of them included outsourcing opportunities, specifically for tax. So I know that that's not everybody's favorite answer to hear, but there's some really, really highly qualified outsourcing companies out there now that can help take some of the tax prep off of your existing team because I know that qualified help is a huge issue. So I would highly recommend that you go back and you watch that webinar and get into some of the ideas for not just automation and software efficiencies, but to look at that potential outsourcing opportunity could create a ton of space for you. How do you discuss with clients that you're adding help to prepare, review tax returns? Oh, yes, John, good question. Like if you're going to outsource or if you have more team members. So, I mean, I always like to frame it as listen, this creates more of a space for us to add more value to you, right? Like you're waiting on us for less time. So, like, we can prepare your returns faster, they're still going to be accurate. It frees up our team to have more advisory conversations with you. Thank you, Matt. Just put the link to that YouTube right in the chat. So if you guys are interested in watching that webinar, go grab that link. Um, the outsourcing, Jeff, good question. Some of them outsource overseas, some of them do not. So that would obviously be a question that you would want to ask of any outsourcing opportunity that you're going to potentially work with. The other thing that I've seen work really well, which is still outsourcing, but it's just a little bit different. Find people that are interested in just partnering with you. There's a lot of EAs out there, even CPAs that have maybe retired from full time, but they're interested in working part time during tax season. There's a lot of EAs, like we just brought on a really great EA She only wants to work part-time because she's homeschooling her daughter, and so she just kinda takes, like, little work here and there as people have overflow, and she's fantastic, and she's super fast and efficient. She gets the returns done really, really quickly. She's not gonna do 10 in a week, but I can definitely rely on her to turn some around really quickly and really accurately. So finding people that maybe own their own practice or are just starting out and they don't have enough of their own work yet and they're willing to kind of come in and supplement for you during tax season. So we're almost right at 2 o'clock. The last couple of slides, again, I'll just tell you guys go take a look at these on your own. There's some key takeaways here for you, some next steps here for you, just to kind of tell you like what are the immediate things that you can do. Go join the Xero tax professional community for ongoing support, especially if you're a Xero user. And here is my email address as well. So if you guys think of any follow up questions after the fact that I can help answer for you, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And then Matt also put up the outsourcing company GKM's YouTube videos specifically on our site for you. So if that's something that you're really struggling with and you want some more information, GKM is a very reliable outsourcing resource. I would highly recommend that you guys reach out and talk to them. Hopefully, this was helpful. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of your time. I always love getting ready for tax season more than I actually love being in it, but hopefully everybody will have an efficient, not so burnout filled season this year with some of these tips and tricks. Have a great rest of your day.
This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you by Insightful Accountants Be Insightful membership program. Get 9 expert-led training tracks, over 30 CPE hours a year, hands-on workshops, and year-round premium content to grow your skills and your practice. Learn more at blog.insightfulaccountant.com. Just click the Premium Member Content button.